topic for today: securing data and basically with IP security VLAN. IPsec VLAN. How we can establish VLAN? So we can say that. So in this topic, we learn how to how we can establish VLAN in different branches to the main branch. How they can connect or how they can create VLAN. Basically, sometimes in today's scenario there is one condition, that is some home work from home is going on. So on that condition we have to establish VLAN over there, or this is a secure method to transfer data between client, or we can say that different companies. So that basically we already studied TCP/IP protocol, but TCP/IP does not provide security. We already studied TCP/IP protocol, but TCP/IP does not provide the security. Basically, it goes publicly, because whenever we transfer the data, it goes publicly. It goes everywhere. When we send data from one PC to another PC, in the case of TCP/IP, they send data to publicly, because ISP read the packet. Basically, ISP read the packet and they transfer the packet to all the network. So basically, VPN create tunnels. And we are talking about the VPN. In that case, we are creating tunnel between source and destination. Suppose this is data, here we create a tunnel. So next that is in this topic, we learn how to build architecture. For creating the VLAN. Or we can say that basically it is it's a peer-to-peer connection. So in this case, so in this slide, you can see IP security VPN application. So basically, it is like a peer-to-peer connection. So basically, in this case, Internet protocol security is a protocol suite that defined by the Internet Engineering Task Force. Is by defined IETF, that means Internet Engineering Task Force Security Internet Protocol Communication. They provide the authentication and or they provide encryption to each IP packet of the communication session. So in this case, two communication parties can encrypt the data. So two communication parties can encrypt the data and authenticate the data originated at IP layer to ensure data confidentially. So basically, three terms are in this IP security. That is, one is integrity. We can say that availability and confidentially. So these three parameters are worked under, we can say that VPN. So confidentially is a security service that protect the disclosure of typical application level data, but also encourage disclosure of communication, which also can be the concern in some circumstances. So traffic flow confidentially is a service that is applied to console source and destination address, message length, or we can say that frequency of communication. So in the case of IP security, that support two form of integrity. Two form of integrity, that means first one is connectionless and a form of partial sequence integrity. So connectionless integrity is a service that detect modification of individual IP datagrams. So without regarding to the ordering of the datagram in the stream of traffic. So the form of partial sequencing integrity that offers in IP security is referred to as anti-reply integrity. And it detects arrival to duplicate IP address or duplicate IP datagrams. So this is a contrast to communication, or we can say that connection-oriented integrity, which impose more sequence requirement to traffic. So example, to be able to detect loss or reordered message. Although authentication and integrity service often are separately, in practice they are intimately connected and also almost offered in different parameters. So availability, when viewed as a security service address and a security concern engaged by attack against network that deny or degrade services. So for example, in the IP security context, the use of anti-reply mechanism in the underlying protocols, that specifically and ESP. and ESP. So basically these support availability to prevent attacks and malicious user initiate by resending captured packet. So this is a method, or we can say that this is a way to create a tunnel between the branch and head office. So next is IP security VLAN architecture. So in this case, we have IP security, basically two protocols. They work with the two protocols. One is and another one is ESP. So that is called authentication header, and ESP, that is called encapsulation security protocol. So in the case of IP authentication header, that provide connectionless integrity, data origin authentication, and the optional anti-reply service. So in the case of ESP, that is protocol may provide confidentially with encryption method and limited traffic flow confidentially. So in the case of ESP, that optionally provide confidentially to the traffic. So the length of the confidential service, that depends upon the part of encryption algorithm. So which three main form of encryption algorithms are possible? So ESP may also optionally provide authentication. However, the scope of the authentication offered by ESP is narrow than for Since the external IP that create tunnel and the ESP header are not protected under ESP authentication. So basically, we have some four type of security techniques. Four type of security techniques. First one is confidential. Second one is data origin authentication. Third one is anti-reply service, and fourth one is data integrity. So these four are the basically security techniques. So when we are talking about the confidentiality, so confidentiality means data should be encrypted. So in that case, data should be encrypted. encrypted. So in the case of data origin authentication, that means receiver would reply the authentication of data origin. That means it should not be come from anyone. In the case of data origin authentication, it should not be come from anyone. So when we are talking about the anti-reply service, that means receiver would discard any corrupted packet or or we can say that out of sequence packet or any duplicated packet. In the case of data integrity, that means receiver would verify any compromise in received packet. They can't compromise with any received packet. So, in the case of authentication, we have three different parameters: MD5, SHA, and DES. So basically, these terms are when we are talking about the MD5, that means message digest, and SHA, that means that stands for secure hash algorithm, and DES that is for data encryption standards. So when we are talking about the data encryption standards, that means we are talking about the cipher blockchaining. So basically, it's a symmetric secret key algorithm that use a key size of 64-bit. So, but is commonly known as a 56-bit key. The key has 56 significant bits. So the least significant bit is every byte in the parity bit. So basically, it's used today is limited due to the capability of conceptual power to perform brute force attack. So within a significant limited time frame. So in this case, we have next another term, that is triple data encryption standard. So triple data encryption standard, that means 3DES. 3DES, that means triple data encryption standard. Basically, it is a 168-bit encryption algorithm that involves an interaction of DES that process with the addition and we can say that initialization vector. So a value that used to create a different pattern in encrypted data to perform the overall confidentiality of the data. So in the case of advanced encryption standard, that is AES. In the case of advanced encryption standard, that support up to 256 bit. 256 bit. 256. What 256? 256 bit encryption employing again the we can say that different cipher blockchaining and initialization vector. For addition, the strength of the encryption method. So AH support MD5 algorithm that takes as input a message of arbitrary length that basically had produced as output a 128-bit like fingerprint or message digest of that particular input. So while SHA1 that produce a 160-bit. It produces a 160-bit message digest that specifically for output. So now SHA2 that represent a next generation of authentication algorithm to extend the security of authentication that flowing discovered to certain weakness in SHA1. So in the term of SHA2 is not optionally defined but is usually used to refer to the collection of the different algorithms. Collection of different algorithms are like SHA, SHA224, SHA256, SHA552. So these all are about the IP security VPN architecture. So next we are having security association. So security association, that means it denotes a form of connections that is established in a single direction communication. It is single direction communication. We can say that single direction through the through which security service relevant to the traffic are defined. Basically, in this case, security service are attributes to an SA, where SA, that is security association. So in the form of either AH or either we are using ESB, but not both. If both AH and ESB based protection is applied to the traffic stream, so then two SAs are created to attribute protections to the different traffic streams. So in order to secure bidirectional communication between two hosts, or we can say that two security gateways, as shown in the example, two security association in one in each direction, one in each direction. So basically, in this case, there are the parameter of SAs. Parameters of SS, that is local address, remote address, SPI inbound, SPI outbound, as shown in the PPT. So where SPI, that stands for security parameter index, and security parameter for outbound, and same as it is for key, where key, that means that assign the password to a particular device. So in this case, both inbound and outbound are there in the case of keyword. So RTA and RTB in your in the given diagram, RTA and RTB, that exchange key with each other. So in this case, SPI inbound of RTA is same with SPI outbound of RTB. I'm again repeating, this is important. In the case of SPI inbound of RTA, is router 1 or router A is the same with SPI outbound of RTB, is router 2, and again it's kind of vice versa. So same as it is for key, that means they are exchanging their keys, whether they are using inbound or outbound. So next, next we are having IP security transport mode. So basically, a transport mode, security association is the between of two different hosts. So in the case of IPv4, a transport mode security protocol, that header appears immediately after the IP header. So any option and before any higher layer protocol, whenever we are talking about the TCP and UDP. Basically, in a transport mode, the protocol that provide protection primarily for upper layers. So in the case of AH and ESP header is inserted between the IP header and the transport layer protocol. So in the given diagram, AH is more secure as compared to ESP. Why? Because AH that provide encryption technique to all the fields, as shown in the given diagram. AH is provide encryption technique to all the field of headers. So whether it is original IP header or data. And on the other hand, ESP do not provide the encryption method to the particular IP address. They only provide the security with ESP, TCP, and data. But on the other hand, AH that provide the original data, original IP address, they provide the security to the original IP address. So basically, in this case, the ENSP transport mode, that is that provides security service only for these higher layers protocol, not the IP header or any extension headers. any extension header that preceding the ESP header. So in the case of AH, the protection is also extended to selected portion on the portion of the IP headers, as well as the selection portion, different headers. So in ESP header, there are basically three different fields. One is ESP header, second is ESP trailer, and third one is ESP authentication. So in the case of ESP trailer, that means they provide the integrity to the data. And in the case of authentication, that means they are providing authentication to the header. So that is the basic difference between AH and ESP. So guys, it is very important to know about that, which one is more secure, whether it is AH or ESP. So AH is more secure as compared to ESP. Why AH is more secure? Basically, why? Because it provides security to the original IP packet, as shown in the diagram. They provide security from original IP address to all the field, whether it is higher layer or lower layer. They provide IP, original IP encryption method, but in the case of ENSP, they do not provide the security to the original IP header. They only provide security to the data and whether we are using transport mode, TCP or UDP. Or when we are using both, AAH and ESP, in that case, all the encryption methods are applied, and whether it is the original IP header. But in the case of transport mode, because next we are having another mode, that is tunnel mode. So next is tunnel mode. In this case, in AH, there are IP header. In two fields. So first is external IP header. First is external IP header, or you can say that it's your public IP. So second IP is your original IP header. So basically it means it is your tunnel IP header. So first IP in the case of tunnel mode, in the case of AHP, first IP act as a you can say that it's your tunnel IP header. First IP, and they provide security from tunnel IP address to original IP address, because in this field that is two fields, they are having same name, that is IP. So first IP in the case of AH, in the case of tunnel mode, the first IP, that means it is your tunnel IP address, or we can say that is your external IP header. So second IP is your original IP header. So in tunnel mode ESP that provide encryption in original IP header, but it is not provide encryption to tunnel header. So basically this is a difference between AH and ESP. So in the IP security context, that using ESP tunnel mode, especially at the security gateway, that can provide some level of traffic flow confidentially. So the outer IP header, in the case of source address and destination address, identify the endpoint of the tunnels. And the inner IP header, source and destination IP header, that identify the original sender and receipt of datagram, respectively. So the inner IP header is not changed except the decrement the TTL value, and the remain unchanged during its delivery to the tunnel exit point. So there is no change occur in to IP option or extension header in the case of inner header during the delivery of encapsulation data through the tunnel. So an AH and ESP header is inserted before the original IP header, and the new IP header is inserted before AH and ESP header. So example given shows the IP security tunnel mode during TCP, that based on the packet transmission. So if AH is also applied to a packet, it is applied to the ESP header. So data payload, ESP trailer and ESP authentication data is field and prevents. There is one question in this case, that is which mode is better, transport mode, or we can say that tunnel mode. uh, Rajat, unmute करो.
Yes, sir.
Which one is better, transport mode or tunnel mode?
Sir, tunnel mode.
Why?
Sir, security ज़्यादा है, I think.
You it's not thinking की बात नहीं, बिल्कुल ठीक है. Tunnel mode is more secure as compared to transport mode. ठीक है, good. Now I am going to launch your first pool question. So basically these pool questions are based upon current topic or previous topic. So first pool question that I am going to launch, that is okay. So first question is, Huawei routers default route of the maximum support for root load balancing. And second question is, identify the maximum theoretical bandwidth that's supported by the WLAN 802.11n standard. जब भी आप मोबाइल बाजार से परचेज करते हो तो ये टेक्नोलॉजी वहां पे होती है आपके मोबाइल के बॉक्स के बैक साइड पे, WLAN that is 802.11n A. Hurry up students, now I'm going to end the poll. I'm going to end the call. I'm going to share the results. So basically, answer for first question is by default, however, router is the maximum support the load balancing route, that is answer is 32. So the answer for second question, that is identify the maximum theoretical bandwidth supported by WLAN 802.11n standards. So answer again D option, that is 600 Mbps. So now I'm going to stop sharing the result. So in this case, IP security VPN establishment. So the implementation of IPN VPN that requires the network layer reachability. Network layer reachability, that means how we can check the reachability to the network, or the main point in this case is how we can find the how we can find our destination is connected with us or not. So in this case, there is one example, one method to check the reachability of the destination. So the checking the reachability of the destination, that means we are talking about the ping command. So ping is a way. Ping command is a way to check the reachability of the destination. So in this case, that means like a pinging, that between the initiator and the recipient is verified to ensure non-IP security communication is possible before building any IPsec VPN. So not all traffic is required to subjected to rule of integrity. We can say that the confidentially and therefore traffic filtering. So traffic filtering that need to be applied to the data flow of integrity. So second, that is identify the interesting traffic. So in this case, identify the interesting traffic, that for which IP security will be responsible for that. So a data flow is a collection of traffic, and it can be identified by the source. We can say that source address or mask address, or source mask, destination mask address, protocol number, source port number, destination port number. So in this case, when we are using VRP, the data flow are defined using ACL groups, because you already studied ACL. So a data flow can be single TCP connection oriented between two hosts, or all traffic between two subnets. So the first step to configure IP security, that involves defining these data flows. So next, that is IP security proposal. So in this case, that defines the security protocol, or we can say that authentication algorithms. Authentication algorithm, that again we can say that it's the encryption algorithm or encapsulation mode. Encapsulation mode for all data flow to be protected. So security protocol, like whether we are using AH or ESP, that can be used to identify two together. So AH that support MD5, as we already studied MD5, SHA1, SHA2 authentication algorithms. So whether, and on the other hand, ESP that support three authentication algorithm, MD5, SHA1 and SHA2, and three encryption algorithms like DES, triple DES, AES. So in that case, IP security that also support both transport and tunnel mode. Transport and tunnel mode encapsulation. So to transmit the data, the same data flow, whether we are talking about the peer or both end of security tunnel, that must be the same secure protocol. Or we can say that same security protocol that provide the authentication algorithm or encryption algorithm, as well as the authentication mode. So to implement IP security between two gateways, it is advised to use tunnel mode. Why tunnel mode? Basically, tunnel mode to shield the actual source and destination IP address that is used to the communication. So in the case of IP security policies that define the security protocol, authentication algorithm, encryption algorithm, and encapsulation mode, the data flow. So in this case, that is define the unique identification. So the configuration of the IP security policy used by manually establishment of security association that set parameters such as we can say that the key and SPI methods. So if the tunnel mode is configured, the IP address for two endpoints of the security tunnel also must be set. So when configuration and an IP security policy used for establishment the security association through IKE negotiation, so the parameters such as key and SPI do not need to set as they are generated through IKE algorithms. So IP security policy of the same name but different sequence number that comprise the IP security policies groups. So in an IP security group, an IP security policy with the smaller sequence number has a higher priority. Whether they are having the smaller number and that means they are providing the higher priority to send the traffic. So after an IP security policy group is applied to an interface, and all IP security policies in the group are applied in the particular interface. So this enables different security associations to be used for different data flows. So next is configuration part of IP security VPN. So as shown in the example, we are having two routers. Router 1 suppose and router 2. We are having two routers and one is network and here we are having gigabit connection GB0/0/1 and here we are having IP address that is 20.1.1.1 24/24. So in this case, in the case of end of router 2, 20.1.1.2/24. And in this case, we are having two PCs. PC on a PC1 that is connected with router 1. So IP for PC1 that is 10.1.1.1/24 and the PC for router 2. So in this they are having IP 10.1.2.1/24. So first command to configure the IP address, that is IP root IP root hyphen static 10.1.2.0/24 then space 20.1.1.2. That means first we have to know about or tell them to know each other. कि सबसे पहले वो आपस में जान सकें कि ये है हमारे पास 10.1.2.0. तो ये वाला IP PC2 must be know about the PC this router. Must be know about this router and this router. And ACL number 3001. Next command is ACL number 3001. Because we already studied different numbers we are having from 2000 to 2999, 3001 to onwards. So next we are having the command that is rule 5 permits IP source address and destination address. In this case, that means we are assigning the interested traffic. those who are interested to transfer the traffic. So next, that is proposal for transactions. So that is a name only for tran 1. So that depends upon you people, whatever you want to assign the name, you can assign the name for that. And next is IP security proposal trans 1. When we have press enter key to this, then we have to establish authentication. Then we have to apply authentication mode. So in this case, we are applying authentication mode ESP authentication algorithm SHA1. So next we are having IP security VPN proposal verification. After entering all the information or data, this authentication mode, if we want to check the proposal algorithm, you just write display IP security proposal. Then they will tell you the proposal numbers, then encapsulation mode, what type of mode you applied to the particular connection, that is tunnel mode, with the help of encapsulation mode. So next we are having, that is IP security creation. So how we can create the IP security creation? So first you write IP security policies, then apply ACL to a particular security, then apply tunnel mode IP address to the particular security. So this is a way to applying tunnel mode, SPI, then key authentications. And next we are having applying policies to the interface, particular interface. So policies to the particular interface, that means you must enter to the particular interface. So how we can enter the interface? Interface gigabit Ethernet G001. Then after that, you assign the IP security policy 1. Then after that, quit. Then return back if you want to check the IP security policies. Then they will tell you about all the information about the IP security policy. So next is all about the verification part. Yes, Joban.
सर ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਹੀ
बिल्कुल नहीं आ रही
ਸਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਹੀ
यार नाल तो सुनता भी पिया नाल कह रहे नहीं आ रही
ਸਰ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਘਟ ਗਈ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼
ओके ਹੁਣ ठीक है
नो सर
मतलब बहुत घट आ रही है स्लो आ रही है कि बिल्कुल नहीं आ रही
सर बिल्कुल स्लो मतलब कि इदां इदां बड़े दूर खड़े नहीं
ਹੈਗਾ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਯਾਰ ਵੈਸੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਇੱਕ ਸੈਕਿੰਡ ਮੈਂ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਦਾ यस तनवीर
हेलो
हेलो यस जोबन हूँ ठीक है
सर आ रही है
तनवीर आ रही है आवाज
हाँ जी सर नहीं आ रही सर बिल्कुल थोड़ी होगी जो
यार जोबन तेरे तक आवाज नहीं पहुंच रही
नहीं सर आ रही है पूरी क्लियर आ रही है
so question that is what is mean by a security association. So that means security association that can be understood as the unidirectional connection, or we can say that management contrast that define the services that will be used in order to negotiate the connection establishment. So in this case, that means the connection relies on matching security association in both directions. So in order to successful establishment secure bidirectional communication. So this is the first question's answer, and now going to tell you about the second question's answer. What are the 3 possible actions that may be applied? Yes, Sumit. Yes, Sumit. Unmute karo, Sumit.
हेलो
हाँ जी सुमित
गुड मॉर्निंग सर
हाँ जी मॉर्निंग
सर रिपीट कर दो एक बार सिक्योरिटी एसोसिएशन
So security association, that means they are providing the understanding between the unidirectional connection or managing construct the define these different services. So in that case, how we can connection establishment. So basically their connection relies on, or we can say that matching security association in both directions. Whether we are talking about in order to successful establishment, secure bidirectional communication. Clear, Sumit? So second question's answer is, what are the three possible actions that may be applied to IP security filter traffic? So basically all traffic is to forward via the outbound interface on which IP security. So basically in establishment will firstly be subjected to filtering via the security policy database. So in this, we generally in the form of ACL that will determine whether the traffic should be either dropped or discard, and forward normally we can say bypass or forward over the secure IP security boundary. Secure boundary, that means we are protecting the data. So this is all about the IP security VLAN. And now I'm going to launch next pool question. Then after that we will start our next topic. So now I'm going to launch next pool question. Okay, just attempt student this. This is your second pool question. Okay, now our next topic is simple network management protocol. Yes, Joban.
सर सेकंड पोल क्वेश्चन सर बताना वन सर कैसे है उसका
वो बाय डिफॉल्ट उसका 1 ही होता है। वो बाय
जबकि सर
डिफॉल्ट,
2 हाँ जी अच्छा जी
क्योंकि वहां पे टोटल नहीं पूछा था, टोटल नहीं पूछा था, आपसे पूछा था बाय डिफॉल्ट क्या होता है। बाय डिफॉल्ट 1 होता है।
बाय डिफॉल्ट सर और प्रायोरिटी का सर क्या रोल है
प्रायोरिटी आप चेंज कर सकते हो ना।
अच्छा
प्रायोरिटी आप अपने हिसाब से जिसकी मर्जी चेंज कर सकते हो। अगर 2 ट्रैफिक आप भेज रहे हो, अगर 2 सिस्टम को लगा के ट्रैफिक सेंड कर रहे हो, इट्स अप टू यू कि आपने किसकी ट्रैफिक को प्रायोरिटी देनी है। बट बाय डिफॉल्ट उसकी जो रहती है वो 1 ही रहेगी उसकी।
ओके सर
So topic is simple network management protocol. So basically, it's application layer protocol. Application layer protocol, that means we are talking about the layer 7. SNMP, that is simple network management protocol. Basically, it's a application layer protocol, or we can say that it's layer 7 protocol. So SNMP So basically, SNMP is used. So major question is that why we are using SNMP protocol. So SNMP is basically used to monitor the network and detect network faults, or we can say that sometimes even used to configure remotely. So that means whenever we are talking about the remote logging, that means we are talking about the SNMP protocol. So by default, so these devices are SNMP basically also use LTE. LTE method. LTE method are basically types of SNMP. They are using different protocols. So in this case, they are using 3 different protocols. That is V1, V2C, and V3. So in this case, in Huawei devices, all 3 are enabled. In the case of Huawei devices, all 3 are enabled in all the devices. So next is main motive is to establish the SNMP. That means we are managing the network. That means how we can manage the network, because whenever we are transferring our data, so before transferring we have to know about the destination IP address. So how we can manage the traffic on the internet. So in this way, these are the SNMP applications. So here using SNMP protocol, all routers and switches are connected with SMN, that is Network Management Protocol. As shown in the diagram, there are 2 routers, and we can say that we are having 3 or 5 switches. Suppose whether we are using firewall or frame relay. So they all are connected with the NMS, that is Network Management Stations. So next we are having that is SNMP architecture. So in this case, there is one term used, MIB object. So MIB object, that means MIB, basically this stands for MIB, that is Management Information Base. Management Information Base. So SNMP architecture is based upon the agent, as shown in the diagram. It's based upon the agent and MIB object So it's software which is configured and installed inside the network. We can say that elements. So basically, it is the intermediator with NMS and MIB object. So MIB, that means all the parameter, or we can say that the attributes are stored in MIB object. That is associated with we can say that associated with object ID. So next we are having MIB objects. So it's inverted tree structure. You see, it's inverted tree structure. It's inverted tree structure that store with root. That root is the initial part. So as I told you, each object has its own ID. So ID becomes like suppose we want to find ID of interface 2. Suppose here you can see there is an interface 2. The given diagram here is an interface 2. Suppose we want to find the ID of interface 2. So how we can find the ID of interface 2? So ID of interface 2, that is first ISO 1. Then after that identified that is 3. Identify organization 3. That is next one is DOD 6, and next one is Internet 1, and next one is Management 2, and next one is MIB 1, and next one is Interface 2. So ID for we can say that interface 2 is 1, then 3, then 6, then 1, again where 1 comes for this, then 2, 1 and 2. 2, 1 and 2. So this is the ID. So this is the ID for interface 2. So this is a way to find the ID of particular objects. So in this case, we can say that 1361. 1361 is the almost common. Is almost common for all the objects, as shown in the given diagram. 1361 is the common ID with all the objects, and 212 is the specifically interface ID for 2. So next is SNMP operations. So SNMP operations, that means how it's in this case how we can check what we can check, that is how this message flow. So first message type 1, that first is get request to any router, or we can say that network. Then second, that is to next request, that is like interface and sub interface some replies. Then third one, that is set request, as shown in the given diagram. Set request, that means to identify, or we can say that to display the value if any data lost in case of UDP, or in case of UDP that means there is no recovery. So next one, that is trap. So trap is a notification for any failure in the network message. So trap, and last one is the we can say that the notification. Trap is a notification, that means we for finding any failure on network. So that is the last object of the SNMP operations, because in this case we are having the authentication method. So next, next I'm going to launch the next pool question. So next pool question is, now I'm going to launch the this pool question. So first, basically, the judge frame relay network and the connection oriented packet that switch network. So hurry up, students. Now I'm going to enter the poll. So hurry up, students. Second, that is which of the following statement regarding the verification of IP connectivity? So this question is based upon multiple choice. Multiple choice means there is two option in this question. Minimum two option is there. Minimum two or maximum four option. There is no only single option in this case for second question. There is multiple options. Multiple option means more than two answer. Two or more than two. Arif, the second question is easy. It's not a difficult question. So this question is basically the verification part of IP connectivity. So now I'm going to end the poll. So now I'm going to share the result. So answer for first question is frame relay network is a connection oriented packet switch network. So the answer for this question is true. Yes, it is connection oriented packet switch network. So second question's answer is which of the following statement regarding the verification of IP connectivity are false? Are false. So first is the ping 127.0.0.1 command can be used to check whether the network cable is correctly inserted into the host Ethernet port. ये तो रॉन्ग है क्योंकि इस केस में आईपी कनेक्टिविटी चेक हम ऐसे नहीं करते तो दिस इज द फॉल्स आंसर दैट मींस फर्स्ट आंसर इज दिस ए आंसर इज इसका एक इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर ए भी है एंड व्हाट अबाउट सेकंड ऑप्शन the ping command with the host IP address as the destination can be used to verify that the TCP/IP protocol suite is functioning correctly. तो इसमें कुछ भी TCP/IP का नहीं चेक हुआ, मीन्स आईपी प्रोटोकॉल कभी भी ये चेक नहीं करता कि टीसीपी के साथ उसकी फंक्शनिंग सही हो रही है या नहीं हो रही. दैट मीन्स right now A and B both are correct answer for this question. And what about third option? The ping command can be used to verify connectivity between the host and the local gateway. Yes, true, this is true. That means जो C option है वो option नहीं है. And fourth one is the command ipconfig /release can be used to realize the existing available IP header to the DHCP server. Yes, again it's true. D option is correct. That means for answer this question is only A and B option is incorrect, or we can say that the correct answer for this question is A and B. C and D is wrong answer for this question. Now I'm going to stop sharing the result. If you people are having any doubt for this question, क्योंकि जितने भी ये क्वेश्चंस हैं that depends upon your final paper. ये सारे फाइनल पेपर से ही मैंने लिए हुए. यस जोबन.
सर ए बी और डी आंसर नहीं आएगा, डी भी आएगा सर
नहीं,
इसका.
डी भी देखो डीएचसीपी है ना, डीएचसीपी प्रोवाइड करवा रहा है. एग्जिस्टिंग आईपी एड्रेस डीएचसीपी चेक कर सकता है नहीं कर सकता?
सर कर
देखो ना,
सकते हैं.
दो चीजें थी ना, आपके आईपी दो तरीके से साइन होते हैं, मैनुअल और ऑटोमेटिक.
ओके सर.
है ना, तो ये ऑटोमेटिक की बात हो रही है. तो ये भी ट्रू है, ये सही है, बट इस क्वेश्चन के बिहाफ पे ये गलत आंसर है.
लेकिन सर मतलब गलत आंसर होता फॉल्स से आएगा, फिर फॉल्स स्टेटमेंट.
स्टेटमेंट ट्रू है, इस क्वेश्चन के बिहाफ पे ये गलत आंसर है. ट्रेड स्टेटमेंट इज ट्रू, स्टेटमेंट सी भी ट्रू है, डी भी ट्रू है, बट क्वेश्चन में पूछा कि फॉल्स एंट्री कौन सी है, तो ए एंड बी जो है वो दोनों फॉल्स है.
सर जैसे ए बी और डी ऑप्शन है, हमने
नहीं.
ए और बी लगाई है, डी मतलब डी भी लगा दी, तो गलत हो गया.
गलत हो गया. तो ऐसा नहीं ना, देख मल्टीपल चॉइस से आई, उसमें दो क्वेश्चन ठीक हो गए, आप चारों पे टिक कर दोगे तो आपको मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे, वो रॉन्ग ही माना जाएगा.
जी सर.
तो इसका मतलब है जो आपका क्वेश्चन है फाइनल पेपर में, मिनिमम मल्टीपल क्वेश्चन दैट कंटेन 25 मार्क्स, सिंगल क्वेश्चन कंटेन 25 मार्क्स. तो अगर आप मल्टीपल चॉइस वाला एक क्वेश्चन गलत करते हो, दैट मींस आपके 25 मार्क्स गए. तो मल्टीपल क्वेश्चंस जो करने हैं वो बहुत ध्यान से अटेम्प्ट करने हैं.
जी सर.
ठीक है. So now I'm going to stop sharing the result, and so next is SNMP operations. So SNMP operations we already studied, and next is SNMP V2C. So basically it's one message is added. One message is added in this case, that is get build request. Get build request. So in this case VI that only for one object. In this case for retrieve the build data. So in this case that information request inform message is for NMS to NMS. So next is 64-bit counter value. So 64-bit counter value that contains the availability which is used for number of failure or parameters, and check the ping failure or packet failure. So earlier we have 32-bit counter value in VI, or we can say that V1. So next that is SNMP V3. So SNMP V3 that is only support data integrity, authentication, confidentiality, and timely message. So in previous there is no authentication. In previous there is no authentication, and there is no timely, etc. So this is especially for the security method. Because why we are using authentication to the network? That means we are providing security to the network. Security from unauthorized access. So next, that is configuration part of SNMP. So in this case, first how we can check the configuration part, that means first we create the agent part. So go to the router setting and write the command snmp-agent. So snmp-agent, then snmp-agent system information version v2c, then agent trap enable. So in this case, all switches of snmp trap notification will be happen. So then press yes to continue. Then go to particular port SNMP agent trap source gigabit Ethernet 0/0/1. Then go to particular port. Then check the configuration part. Then so basic way to check the configuration part, that is display and space with specifically what you want to display. So in this case, we are finding SNMP agent system information, and they will tell you complete information about this command. Then after that, so this is the question for this topic. Which version of SNMP is enabled by default? So answer for this question is all three versions. ये हमने अभी starting में किया था, all three version are by default enabled in the case of Huawei routers. So second question, that is what is the destination port number that is used by an agent to forward traps to a network management station. So answer for this is, that is UDP 162. So answer for this question, that is UDP 162. So this is the port number for destination destination trap forward trap to network management station. So this is all about today's topic. If you people are having any doubt, just ask me and raise your hand. So okay, now I am going to launch fourth poll question. Again, it's important questions for you, क्योंकि ये as it is for final paper में ही question आए हुए हैं. I'm going to launch the last poll question. Both the questions are having multiple answers. IP routing table that contain which of the following information? IP routing table contains which of the following information? Destination network address cost, metric, next hop address, outgoing interface. And second question, that is what is which of the following router protocol is used for IPv6 service? IPv6, RIP NG, OSPF v3 and RIP v2. Hurry up, students. So now I am going to end the poll. So now I am going 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 to end the poll. So I'm going to share the result. So the answer for first question is IP routing table that contain which of the following information? Which of the following information that contain IP routing table? So destination network address cost, it contain network address cost, metric, that is they also contain the information, the routing table. And third one, next hop address, also they can contain the information about next hop address. And fourth option is outgoing interface. They can also contain the information for routing table in outgoing interface. So answer for first question is all the options are correct. That means IP routing table that contain all these information, whether it is destination network address cost, metric, next hop address, and outgoing interface. Okay guys, first question's answer is all the options are correct, A, B, C, D. अगर आपने दो ऑप्शन पे किया है ठीक या तीन पे किया है तो अगेन इट्स रॉन्ग क्वेश्चन, रॉन्ग आंसर आपका रहेगा. So answer for first question is all the options are correct. So second question, which of the following routing protocol is used for IPv6 service? Which of the following routing protocol is used for IPv6 service? So first option in this case we are having, that is RIP v6. So RIP v6 is not the service of the routing protocol in the case of IPv6. So IPv6 is incorrect. And second is RIP NG. RIP NG is correct option. And OSPF v3. OSPF v3 again it's correct option. And RIP v2. RIP v2 is the incorrect option. So that means answer for this question is which of the following routing protocol is used for IPv6 service. So correct answer for this question is RIP NG and OSPF v3. So in this case, there is only two options, two correct options, B and C. Now I'm going to stop sharing the result. If you people are having any doubt, just raise your hand regarding these questions, these two questions. So now I'm going to stop sharing the result. So any doubt in these two topics, whether it's IP security VLAN or whether it is SNMP? If any doubt, just raise your hand.
फाइनल
Final exam
एग्जाम जो होगा सर उसके लिए की
उसके लिए आपने रजिस्टर कर दिया है, फाइनल एग्जाम के लिए आपने रजिस्टर कर दिया है। जिन लोगों ने नहीं किया वो आज अभी मेरे को मेल आईडी सेंड कर दें, उनका मैं चेक कर लूँगा। और पेपर ऑनलाइन ही होगा, उसी पे आएगा, बट आपको लिंक शेयर हो जाएगा, किस लिंक पे आपने क्लिक करना है। क्लियर?
यस सर।
एनी डाउट?
सर वो जो हेलो
हाँ हाँ हाँ
सर,
यस
सेकंड
यस।
क्वेश्चन में जो उसमें आप बताए हैं कि फॉरवर्ड ट्रैप्स, सर इसका क्या मतलब है?
ट्रैप इज अ कमांड, ये देखो ये देखो लास्ट ट्रैप, ये पूछा गया था आपसे कि यूडीपी के लास्ट ट्रैप पे पोर्ट नंबर क्या था, तो
Yes,
ये
sir.
आंसर था यूडीपी 162 इज अ पोर्ट नंबर फॉर एसएनएमपी ऑपरेशन।
यस सर, ये सब सारे सर कमांड हो गया, ये
हाँ
सब कमांड है।
हाँ, ये पोर्ट नंबर पूछा है ना आपसे, यूडीपी 162।
यस सर, यस सर,
क्लियर है?
ओके सर।
ओके स्टूडेंट्स, नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू स्टॉप शेयरिंग स्क्रीन, एंड अगर आपको कोई भी डाउट रहे तो आप मेरे से पूछ लेना, ठीक है? नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू एंड द मीटिंग।